In the civilizations of the ancient world, we always hear about temples, statues, and pyramids. But in one civilization, something appeared that's stranger than fiction. A civilization that speaks of aircraft, flying in the skies thousands of years ago. Aircraft that didn't run on fuel or sails. Aircraft powered by energy, and sometimes even by sound. The Indians called them vimana. At first, you might think this is just religious fantasy, a myth people wrote to give gods power and magic. But when we look closer at the ancient texts, we find precise descriptions and surprises that push the topic out of the realm of myth and into the realm of, was this real? In books like the Mahabharata and the Ramayana, texts over 3,000 years old, we find stories of fierce battles between kings and gods. Each one riding a vimana, a flying ship that could travel at the speed of light, sometimes disappearing and reappearing. One description even says it flew with engines that roared like thunder and shone in the sky like lightning. In the Ramayana epic, we see a scene where King Ravana kidnaps Sita, the wife of the god Rama, and escapes with her on his vimana, which was like a palace in the sky. When Rama comes to rescue her, he uses a vimana too. The battle between them wasn't just on the ground, it was in the skies. Flying ships and long-range weapons. Something like modern science fiction movies. What's even stranger is that these descriptions aren't just poetic words. No, they're technical. There are texts that describe the vimana using terms like copper pipes, energy crystals, rotating wheels, magnets, steam propulsion, and sometimes solar power. So we're talking about a semi-scientific design, at a time when humans supposedly hadn't even mastered the wheel. In the 20th century, a book appeared called Vimana Shastra, said to have been written through divine inspiration in the early part of the century. This book contained drawings, designs, and detailed descriptions of various types of vimana, around 25 different models. Each type had specific specifications and different methods of flight. And some even talked about traveling between planets, not just flying in the sky. But scientists came out and said the book was a fabrication, and that it had no connection to the original ancient texts. That it was a kind of modern fantasy. But believers said, even if it was written recently, it was based on true ancient ideas. And who said everything has to be written on stone to be believable. What makes the topic even more exciting is that some modern engineers and inventors tried to build vimana models based on these texts. There was even an experiment in India where they tried to replicate a vimana design and they claimed it actually flew. But of course, there's no video, no reliable witnesses. Just word of mouth. But the question remains. How could a civilization thousands of years ago describe aircraft and spaceships so accurately? Were they really technologically advanced and their knowledge was lost? Or were they in contact with civilizations from other planets, as some people claim? This is where the talk about ancient alien theories begins. Theories that suggest Earth was visited by beings from space thousands of years ago, and that they taught humans agriculture, engineering, and physics, and left their mark on civilizations like Egypt, Sumer, and India. Some even say that the Vimana wasn't human invention at all. It was a replica of alien spacecraft seen or left behind by other beings. And that the temples built on mountaintops weren't just places of worship. They were landing pads for the Vimana, or power stations used to recharge them. Strangely, there are places in India with stone carvings and wall drawings that actually resemble flying ships. And in temples like Ellora and Khajuraho, we see things crafted with such precision. It's as if they were made by modern machines. Yet those temples are thousands of years old. There are also texts describing weapons that emit burning light, cause skin diseases, and kill people without leaving wounds. These descriptions are very similar to nuclear weapons. In a battle called Kurukshetra in the Mahabharata, it said the earth shook, the winds were hot, and the sky went dark. Like a nuclear bomb. Could it really be that there were nuclear technologies and aircraft in ancient India? Or is this all just popular imagination, beautifully written mythology? What makes things even more complicated is that in some areas of India today, scientists have found traces of high radiation, without any clear cause. And there are no nuclear plants nearby. There are also remains of charred skulls and bones, as if they were caught in a massive explosion. Is this just coincidence? Or is it really the remains of an ancient battle involving Vimana and advanced weapons? When we ask archaeologists, they say, there's not enough evidence. But when we ask mystery lovers, they say, the evidence is in the texts. And just because you can't see it, doesn't mean it's not real. In the end, the Vimana will remain one of the greatest mysteries in history. Is it a myth? Or the remains of a lost civilization? Or a visit from extraterrestrial beings? What we can say is that a civilization like India, with its deep history, symbolic writing, and strange ideas, isn't easy to understand at first glance. Maybe the Vimana is just fantasy. Or maybe it's a memory of something real our ancestors saw, but we can't explain. To this day, no one can tell the full truth. But the real question is, would we believe it if the evidence appeared? Or will we keep saying, it's just a myth, like every civilization said before us?